Well, welcome to Godalming Angling Society's Broadwater Lake. It's what I would classify as quite an easy carp water, runs water, but this year, like so many other waters, it has been a bit iffy, and it's not been just cast out and catch fish like in previous years. You do have to think about your tactics. I've been joined today by Nash Ambassador Chris Petter, and the weather's a bit against us, isn't it?
It's been a bit cold overnight. Dropped down to nearly 0 on the way up here. The sun's up a bit now, but it's going to be a tough one. Bailiffs have said it's been tough recently, but hopefully we'll have a few fish between us.
We've got some high atmospherics as well. We've got no clouds in the sky. I think atmospherics of 1,022 millibars, and there's not a lot of wind either, and what wind there is coming in our faces, which is good, but it's coming from the east. So we're going to be fishing two methods, contrasting methods. If the fish want some food, then my tactic will probably work. But if they're a little bit...
if they're wanting food, it will definitely work. I'm going to go in on the PVA bag.
Yeah, probably for a bigger fish.
Yeah, try and wheedle out one of the better fish. But we'll see what happens.
See how it goes. We can always change to what's working best. So
that's it. Change the tactics if you have to.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
This is the rig that I'm fishing. Basically it's a 2-ounce inline lead, no leaders, short 6-inch braided hook link with a shot and a pop-up and a bottom bait, just critically balanced, just sitting nicely on the bottom. To that I've got small PVA bags, small pellets, crushed boilies, just hooked nicely onto the hook like so, and then just that's the finished thing.
Bill, go, because I'm on a run. Well, that was what you call a proper Broadwater run, that was. This fish is doing its best to go around the back of the island. I would imagine it's going to be one of these sort of 7, 8, 9 pound commons that I seem to catch a lot of when I fish the method over here. I don't tend to get the bigger fish because I'm obviously fishing on the same spot every time by clicking up. I'm just attracting a lot of kind of smaller, greedier carp. I don't even think I've ever had a 20 out of here. 1915's my best. So if you want to catch the bigger fish, you really want to be fishing down the margins. Let a lot less fish, but when it goes, it's a better fish. And as you can see, they certainly hang on here. This one's up on the surface and right out. It just came to a little key barrel. Just fished out. Not tight on the island, I'm quite a few rod lengths off, but I'm just keep casting and putting it in the same sort of area. I'm just about to get my marker back, that's how much line that fish took. Still a long way out there. Where, as I mentioned earlier, the way this one took off, I thought it was going to be one of the commons. They really are sort of long, lean fighting machines, these are. And the reason I've got this cradle is they're really lively here. They just don't like being handled. Sort of 6-7 pounders, like torpedoes. They just fight all the way to the net and when you've got them in your arms. So I'll get this one back. Hopefully we'll get a bigger one. Little carp. Come on, in you come, you. Well, I think that's probably the smallest carp I've ever caught here. That was a little bit manic, as you can see. Beautiful common. Probably, I don't know, maybe last year's spawning, just to show that they spawn well out of it. It was a bit manic. I had a common in the cradle, just about to put her back, and this spirited little thing ripped off with it. So, yeah, me too. You say, one for the future. Big hump back on that. That could be a big fish when she gets older. The smallest one I've ever caught here. Been taken.
Oh, that's on film.
Yeah, lovely scaly mirror, probably about £8 or £9. Might be giving it a little bit there, but she's behaving for once. Rare on this lake. Rare. They normally just slap you about, beat you up, and generally get you a bit frustrated. So lovely looking fish, one of the better looking fish in here, I would say. Although there's some lovely big long commons in here. It'd be nice to get my hands on one of those later. Well, if you've seen the video Enton when I've been fishing for crusions, this will look very similar, and it is. It's just stepped up. For rod, I've got a 275 entity, £10 line, so I can kind of hit a bit of distance, and all I've got is a 2 ounce lead that just has a little bit of movement there, the general float stop to create the bolt rig, and one of these little quick change systems. And on the hook link, again, it's very short. It's a fluorocarbon 7-pound hook link, so you've got to take the fish easy when you hook it. And down here I've got a barbless size 12 and just one of the little key sort of 10 by 15 mil barrels. And what I actually do is I just get some of the bull maker pellets, I just press that and compress that round the lead. You don't want it too stodgy, you want it kind of dry but firm enough to cling to the lead and not break off on the cast. And you just actually fish that, you know, the method it is really, just casting out towards the end of the island, probably about 65 yards, I'm hitting that 70 yards. And hopefully that'll just build up, if we keep casting, just build up a nice sort of area where the fish are feeding. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully that'll catch me a few fish. Well, as you can see, I'm into another fish. It was quite an opportunist fish actually, because the swims died this morning. I think I've had about 8 carp. Biggest is about £12, but they all came very early on. 5 of them was before even Chris got here. And it just shows the importance of getting in really early and getting the rods out and setting that alarm and being an early bird. But since it's died, there's been a few fish out in the middle showing. I literally just got my rod, smashed it out into the middle with the method, and been out there about 15 minutes and off it's gone. So I think Chris is going to move away from the island because he hasn't had anything yet, and do exactly, you know, what I've just done, and put a couple of baits right out into the actual middle of the lake. Again, it's not a big fish, it's common, very, you know, hard fighting. But as you can see, on a day like today, when you've got no clouds and high pressure, every fish is a bonus really. Okay, well this is carp number 9. It's the first one for an hour or so. I must admit, when this came up I thought it was one of the massive crucians that are in here. It was sort of dark and hide back, but it's I wish it was a crucian at this weight. But there you have it, gorgeous looking common. Not quite the smallest. I had one about £1 earlier, but as I said, this came just to the method, just whacked out right into the middle where I saw a few fish. Yeah, but, you know, every fish is welcome. It's a difficult day, but if that was about £20, what a fish would that be? One thing I've noticed at Broadwater is you get a lot more fish when you use a little sight stop, a little buoyant sight stop, whether it's the buoyancy or just the colour they home in on. But I'd even say that I'm catching sort of 6 fish to 1 with a sight stop as opposed to a bottom bait. And again, I'm just getting one of these little key barrels, and I'm just breaking it down about half the size, and then just putting a sight stop on. I've got about an 7.5 pound fluorocarbon hook link, which is quite stiff, only about 3 inches in length, and basically that's it. You just kind of like the hook with your boilie and a little sight stop. Just put a little boilie stop in there. And there you go, it really does. The sight stop does make a lot of difference here.
A quick move, straight on a fish. Just shows sometimes you can sit in one swim, nothing happens, move, cast, straight on a fish. Duncan was getting fish moving to his right, and it had been totally fishless to the left. Quickly after a move, change of bait, change of swim, double citrus 10mm pop-ups, fished an inch off the bottom and cast out into the void of the lake. First one, I thought it was going to be a blank.
Another fish has come to just a bait, absolutely launched right out as far as I can get it. If you can see those fish, you've got to get it in amongst them. I'm literally at my limit of my range here now. I can't really go too much further because then I'll be approaching on the far bank. But just keep your eyes open at all time, and if you spot the fish, you've got to cast them, and don't just be completely attracted to an island. You know, they are great features and they do hold fish, but at this time of year when it gets colder, they move out into the open, into the deeper water. Probably going to be another 6, 7, 8 pound common. So it's one of those days when the smaller fish turn up. Another thing you'll notice is a lot of fish come soon after casting out on the method. It's all that pellet. Literally, it hits the water. These fish in here kind of almost know that splash is the sound of a PVA bag or some food going in. And they're attracted to that. A couple of minutes, it's all broken down. Fish come in, just sucks all that up. And because I'm using a small bait, you fool the odd extra fish.